When solving a triangle, you should always try to do law of sines first. Law of sines, which states sine of an angle, which I'll refer to as a capital letter, over its opposite side, is equal to sine of another angle over its opposite side. This formula is a little bit easier than the law of cosines, but in order to use it, you got to know three of the pieces of information. In this particular problem, all we know are the sides, which would be these bottom two locations, which means we'd have two unknowns. So we have to use law of cosines on this particular problem. When you do law of cosines, always solve for the smallest angle first, and the smallest angle will always be opposite the smallest side. A lot of times my drawings aren't to scale, so hopefully you'll recognize that of the 9, the 10, and the 12, angle P is the smallest angle. So that's what we're going to solve for first. Law of cosines, which generically looks like this. A squared is equal to b squared plus c squared. Those are all three of the sides of the triangle. Minus 2 times bc multiplied by cosine of angle A. So this is your generic textbook formula. All the lowercase letters are the sides. The key element here is that this side and this angle are opposite one another. So if you want to solve for angle P first, then the side opposite at 9 has to go there. This must start with 9 squared in order to solve for angle P. B and C are the other two sides. The order does not matter, so I'm just going to write 10 squared and then 12 squared minus 2 times 10 times 12. Cosine of the angle we're trying to find, which in this case is called P. So at this point, I need to punch on my calculator these things. So I'm going to start with the 9 squared, and I'm going to subtract the 10 squared and subtract the 12 squared. Do those at the same time. Just make sure you don't combine those with this 2, 10, and 12. That's not allowed because that's multiplied by cosine P. So after I move those things over, I currently have a negative 163 on the left side. Negative 163 is equal to these three guys multiplied together. Negative 2 times 10 times 12 is negative 240, which is still times cosine P. So we divide that negative 163 by the negative 240. And now cosine P is by itself. Don't ever hit clear. I'm going to write these numbers down, but don't use them in their rounded form. At this point, we need to do inverse cosine to get the P by itself. So second cosine of the previous answer is angle P. 47.221. I'll go ahead and write the answers to that over here. Angle P, 47.221. Which you should store and use later. So I've stored that for X. Now I have this angle up here, angle P. I need to find another angle. I'm going to try to use law of sines now. Choose the second smallest angle, in this case angle R. So law of sines says sine of an angle, in this case R, over its opposite side 10 is equal to sine of another angle. We're going to choose the angle that we already have solved for, P, over its opposite side 9. If we cross multiply here, we have 9 times sine R is equal to 10 times sine P. Sine P we already have stored on our calculator. Divide by 9 to get the R by itself. So I need to punch 10 times sine of X, which is what I've stored, divided by 9. And that leaves sine R. So at this point, it's inverse sine of the previous answer to get angle R, which I have 54.641. Angle R, pardon me, 54. Walter, what are you looking at? 78.641. To find the last angle, the largest angle, just simply take 180 and subtract those two answers. So 180 minus the previous answer and minus my stored x to get the last angle, the largest angle, 78.138. The last thing to find is the area. The area formula is two of the sides multiplied together. If I were to use arbitrary letters like A and B, then you multiply by the sine of the angle in between them, which is not capital A or capital B, it's the other angle. In this case, I'll use C, all over 2. So here's our generic formula. Basically, we need a side angle side. Now I already have angle P stored on my calculator, so I'm going to use that angle and the two sides right around it. I'm going to punch 10 times 12 times sine of that angle P divided by 2, and I'll have the area. 10 times 12 times sine of the angle in between them, which was P, which I have stored for X. Close that. Don't forget to divide by 2. And there's my area, 44,039. 44,039. Check the labeling on the problem. 1 apostrophe is feet, so we have square feet. And there is the solved triangle with the area. Okay, here is number 2. Copy that triangle down, solve the triangle, so you'll find side P, find these two angles. This Q is in a weird location. And find the area. Press pause if you need more time. Here is the solution.
Jesse, you got to get off the ball. That guy just lost your roll.
Yeah, because I just castled.
But yet, since you're on, you keep getting
Okay. Here's side P, angle R, angle Q, and the area, which is again square feet. Here's the law of cosines problem that I typed, which I was able to type all of that on my calculator. Just don't forget to hit square root when you get to there. Okay, here is problem number 3. Press pause if you need more time. Copy that problem down. Solve the triangle. Find the area. And here is the solution.
We do this a lot. Don't you laugh at Ben.
Here are the 3 angles. Here's the area. This one is in inches, so the answer is in square inches. And you got it.